Good afternoon. Welcome to Rwpcs News. The right news,
the right way.
I'm Shaka Williams.
And I'm Shanquelle Dennis. October is a busy month. If you recall, we mentioned breast cancer awareness, which encourages women and men to get checked.
We also talked about bully awareness prevention, which motivates people to speak up about bullying and to stop bullying.
This week, we want to inform you about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is also recognized in the month of October. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, every year more than 10 million women and men are victims of physical violence by an intimate partner. If you or anyone you know are being abused, please tell someone, because no one deserves the brutality inflicted by others.
Last year, students in the Journalism and Media Arts program produced the PSA for the nation's largest anti-sexual organization, RAIN. Let's check it out.
5, 5,
5,
5, 5.
This isn't just a number.
This is a number that shows hurt, broken trust, betrayal,
and loss of innocence.
This number represents 1 out of 5 African American girls
who have been sexually abused. 5 is a number of confusion,
self-blame, and confliction.
No one should ever go through this. It's never your fault. You're not alone.
There's hope. If you or someone you know needs help,
call 1-800-656-HOPE today. You're not alone.
You are not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone.
You're not alone.
And you're not alone.
Call 1-800-656-HOPE today.
For the second time, RWPCS seniors participated in taking the SAT.
Although students had already taken the SAT twice, about 25% decided to take it for a third time. The SAT is a standardized college admission test, which is globally recognized. It tests students and allows colleges to see what they know and how well they can apply that knowledge to college. Its 3 subjects are critical reading, writing, and math. If taken multiple times, students can create a super score, which gives the highest score in each subject and raises the overall score for applying to colleges. Each time the students took the SAT, they had the opportunity to use fee waivers. That means they saved a total of $152.50. Senior Tiffany Haynes has taken the SAT all 3 times.
I had spent 2 weeks in Atlanta in Spelman, and I had basically taken a 2-week SAT prep course. So coming back and taking it in October was better for me.
Well, Mr. Young has been pushing for students to take the SAT and applying for colleges seriously. He has talked to us about how the fee waiver came about.
So the SAT being waived has always been a practice that you get 2 fee waivers. However, in DC, what happened was the attendance at the SATs on Saturdays were low. So what DC decided to do was pay for the students to take a SAT during the school day. And that they hope would increase the number of students taking the SAT.
The purpose of taking the SAT multiple times is to raise one's total score. If a student doesn't take the test seriously, then they waste their time, as well as the purpose of the fee waiver. Senior Justin Crowder found the fee waivers to be very useful.
The first time I took the test, I did very well because I took it at the school and I was kind of comfortable. And the second time I took it was like right before the summer at another high school, and I wasn't really comfortable. And now I know that I know more, and so it's like when I'm in the school, I'm just more comfortable. So I'm able to relax, and then I've learned more over a year, so I think I did pretty well, especially for the reading section.
Hopefully, third time is the charm for the class of 2015. I'm Skylar Hales for RWPCS News.
Speaking of the SAT, representatives from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, also known as FAMU, visited RWPCS to speak with students about what it takes to be a rattler.
Last Friday, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, better known as FAMU, paid RWPCS students a visit and spoke with them about the University School of Journalism and Graphic Communications. Dean of FAMU, Dr. Ann Kimbrough, was present and shared with students that FAMU would be offering new opportunities to students in journalism by becoming the first HBCU to have a cable news network.
I think it was a great experience. I made a great first impression on all of the speakers over there. I think they look forward to having me on campus.
FAMU is a historically black college and university that gives students a great experience and a chance to excel in their craft. FAMU is also giving away scholarships to students that are extremely focused and dedicated to their future endeavors. Overall, it was an honor to have Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University come to inspire RWPCS students to think about the right college for them. We also had the opportunity to talk with journalism teacher Mr. Bussey, also known as the FAMU graduate of the building, and asked him about his experiences as a student there.
One reason is that students here are doing what the real world journalists are doing now, and FAMU can only enhance that. And the reason why I chose FAMU, or many others have chose FAMU for journalism, was because they have some of the stations and broadcasters that you see on TV, and they are real life and they compete with the main stations. It's just like being here and a Richard Wright student will be competing with somebody from Channel 5 or Channel 4 or Channel 9 News. In Florida and Tallahassee, students there compete as a college student with the real professionals.
Latea King also chimed in on how the workshop went.
Okay, so I like the FAMU workshop because it was a woman in there that went to FAMU, and she was a PR agent, and she do a lot of stuff, and she really convinced me to consider going to FAMU and consider being a PR person, because if you do PR, it's really a lot of range of what you can do.
With the surprise visit from FAMU, it's going to be very difficult for the other universities to rattle students in. This is Janai Pearson for RWPCS News.
Shanquell, isn't it interesting how social media drives the news industry?
Yeah, social media has become a pretty good way for people to find out about current events, but haven't you wondered how people use social media to create stories?
Yes, and this past weekend, students had a chance to find out.
This past weekend, students from RWPCS attended a Tech It Out seminar at the Washington Post, hosted by the Young Developing Journalists program. Students learned how to structure a news story using social media as a reference to support their independently chosen topic. The workshop was filled with many editors and writers from the Washington Post that assisted students and challenged their creativity. I talked to 11th grader Saber McDonald.
My experience at the Washington Post was actually very fun. At first, I thought it was going to be boring because there was only 6 of us. And it would just, when it's a little bit of people, you're like, well, what are we going to do? But it was actually fun because we learned how to insert the social media into the articles that we wrote.
I believe that the workshop benefited me and my fellow classmates because at first we weren't truly sure that we could write effective articles, gather information, and use social media to enhance our articles. We used applications such as Storify and WordPress to keep up with social media and to input the media into our news story ready for print. I learned that social media can be used to argue both points of a story and support the story with solid evidence. Overall, the experience at the Washington Post was illuminating. I learned a lot from the workshop, and so did others, like RWPCS journalism teacher Miss Leonard.
I really enjoyed Saturday's workshop. From a teacher's perspective, I was able to gain a lot of insight that I will definitely use to create curriculum that's engaging for my students.
The Washington Post is continually motivating student journalists through challenging writing experiences and mentoring opportunities. Richard Wright staff strongly encourages students to take advantage of the opportunities at hand as they will greatly help you in your future. I'm Isaac Jackson for RWPCS News.
Kicking off this week, students go into the community and explore new developing businesses while spreading a positive image for the school. Here's Natalie Davis with Barracks Row and Beyond.
District Donut had officially opened their doors in September right across from the Marine Barracks in Southeast Washington, D.C. Because they're a new business, I had the opportunity of checking the place out. I got up close and personal with the business manager, Greg Minna.
The inspiration for District Donut came from the minds of 3 people. The first 2 were one of my lifelong friends in 6th grade, named Juan Pablo, and then our chef, Christine. She's a highly trained gourmet dessert and pastry chef. She's from New York, and she moved to Washington, D.C., wanting to kind of make a splash, to create something that was hers, that was her signature. It had her kind of eye for aesthetic, and then also her amazing focus and attention to detail and flavors, using fresh fruits and kind of the best ingredients, the finest chocolates. And so when she met Juan Pablo, who's the business mind, he said, I have an idea, and it's donuts, and they're high-end, they're fancy. And she said, no way, I make really fancy and high-end desserts, and donuts are always boring. And he said, no, you can put your signature on them.
I also had a taste test of 4 donuts, which were caramel apple streusel, brown butter, pumpkin spice, and Verona chocolate crisp. My favorite was the caramel apple streusel. Lastly, I got a tour of where the magic happens.
So we chose Barracks Row for the first location of our business because Barracks Row unites a few different things that we found the perfect combination of factors for our business. And the first one was, it is not based on convenience. It's not simply something that you can go to as a throwaway. It's known in DC as one of the finest areas of quality in food. Our focus is quality and not convenience, and not just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of something, but each one being individually crafted. And Barracks Row in Capitol Hill has become known for high-end quality restaurants and food service. And the second and third things are, it's kind of an iconic American location across from the Marine Barracks, and we have many good friends in the Marines across the street. And the third would probably be it's an area that's known for having developed very quickly in the last 10 to 20 years, coming from a place that people were not coveting to go there and open a business there, to a place that now is off the charts in terms of how many people would like to be here. And we were right. We were validated. The United States' finest restaurant, Rose's Luxury, is now located only 100 yards or so from us. So we're excited to be here for all those reasons.
It was an awesome and delicious experience. You should really go check out District Donut today. I'm Natalie Davis for RWPCS News.
Thanks, Natalie. I hope you brought donuts back.
Hopefully.
And now let's go to Miss Young Folk and Mr. Fagan for the Wright News Reading Corner.
Good afternoon, Richard Wright. I'm Janae Ingram standing in for Ms. Young Folk.
And I'm Edward Tosa standing in for Mr. Fagan.
Welcome back to our 4th week of the Wright News Reading Corner. Today we are going to present to you the new vocabulary word for next week, and of course our reading strategy and reading initiatives for the last week of October.
Our vocabulary word for next week is calibrate. It means to determine, rectify, or mark the graduations of something, like a thermometer, for instance. Can you share with our audience a complete sentence using our new vocabulary word, Janae?
I'll be honored to do that, Edward. Let's see. Calibrate the engine according to the standard measurement to see if it deviates when active. How's that?
Very impressive.
Stop. No pictures, please.
Our reading strategy continues to be effective questioning. Make sure you ask questions before, during, and after reading.
And our reading initiative is to encourage you to complete your book reports and turn them in for a wonderful prize. We enjoy sharing these reading ideas with you from the Reading Corner.
Ms. Young Folk and Mr. Fagan have been on safari looking for new vocabulary words and reading strategies to improve our reading habits. They'll be back next week to share some wonderful new tidbits from the Richard Wright Reading Corner for the month of November. That's all for now. I'm Edward Tosin.
And I'm Janae Ingram. And always remember to read it, enjoy it, and do it.
Thank you, Edward and Janae.
Good job, guys. We look forward to you being a rising upperclassman.
Now let's go to Imani Sutton with the Latin moment.
Our Latin moment today is words about domestic violence and prevention. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Latin-related words are domestic, meaning about the home, Latin domesticus, derived of domus, house. Think of the word dome. Violence, meaning rough physical force causing harm, Latin violenza. Prevention, meaning to hold back or hinder, late Latin prevention, stem of preventio. I'm Imani Sutton with your Latin moment.
And welcome to another edition of Spartan Sports Zone, where we give you the latest news in Spartan sports. First up is the flag football team. Not letting their first loss of the season get to them, Spartans came back and won not just one, but 2 games, back to back. Monday game was against Washington Latin Public Charter School. The score was 19-14. Tuesday's game was against Thurgood Marshall Academy. The score was 21-0. And I would like to give a big shout out to juniors Jaquan Jackson and Lonnell Johnson Jr. for their tremendous efforts on the field as well as off the field.
In basketball, the Spartans pulled a rabbit out of the hat and beat AAU team Anointed Ballers over the weekend. The score was 37-36. Well, next week is homecoming, and here are your Spirit Week activities.
Monday, October 27th is Crazy Socks and Any Shoes Day.
Tuesday, October 28th is Twin Day.
Wednesday, October 29th is Team Jersey Day, no jeans.
Thursday, October 30th is the pep rally and the dance. It is $5 to dress down and attend the dance. Dress code will be enforced.
The rally's from 11:30 to 12:30, but the dance is from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Refreshments will be on sale at the dance.
All students who do not participate in the day's activity must be in full uniform.
Last but not least in football, the Spartans took yet another horrific loss to National Collegiate Prep. The score was 33-0. This week's a bye week for the Spartans, though. However, with it being homecoming, the Spartans have a chance to play the Paul Pirates. The game will be at Easton High School at 7 p.m. For more details, see Miss McGuire or Miss Glover. Well, that's all we have here today. Join us for another edition of The Right News
The Right Way.
I'm Shaka Williams.
And I'm Shawnquelle Dennis, and we're going to leave you with this great quote from Richard Wright. It was not a matter of believing or disbelieving what I read, but of feeling something new, of being affected by something that made the look of the world different. Have a great weekend.
And see you next week.